So do you guys remember Yandere Simulator? So apparently the guy that made Yandere, the Yandere dev, decided to make an apology video for him doing creeping up on small teens, I believe. Oof.
Tells me Mutahar, and the first apology video of 2024 just dropped January 1st, 2024. And you might be wondering, well, Muta, who's apologizing this early? Ladies and gentlemen, no other than Yandere Dev.
What a way to start 2024, by Yandere Dev coming back up live and apologizing.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, 3 months ago, I made a video regarding Yandere Dev where I looked at Yandere Simulator as a game over again just to see
Where
how
is
much
his violin?
was really done. Honestly, not that much as far as
Where is his instrument?
But beyond that, there were some rather wild allegations that kicked up regarding Yandere Dev and his involvement in conversations with a minor. Now, before I get into it, obviously I think I have to...
Wait, what? I'm 16, you're 35. You have this massive blackmail over me. Okay.
Conversations with a minor. Now, before I get into it, obviously I think I have to constantly
Completely
remind
normal.
people who don't know what Yandere Simulator is. Back in 2014, April 1st, yes, this was an April 1st post on the old 4chan.
Like, just before we get into this, how do you apologize being a pedophile? Like, you can't apologize for that. You just, the only way is to like fucking losing your balls or something. Like, it help. Like, I don't understand what kind of video would anyways do.
Yandere Dev discusses the game mechanics.
You pull out the ukulele
simulator.
and start to sing. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Pick a boy, stalk him, kill girls.
It worked out for one lady. Maybe it'll work for us with this guy.
The best way to describe Yandere Dev's or Yandere Simulator's amazing gameplay is take the sandbox and stealth and assassination mechanics of the Hitman franchise, combine them with the day-night social school system of the Persona franchise, and I guess somehow you have some Metal Gear influences. Put some bully in there because you're taking it into high school, and you get the general gist.
Dude, this was a good game.
Now, obviously, it's a very niche game made for a very niche crowd. And it's one of those games that's been in a long development cycle. If you go to Yandere Dev's work...
I'm like astonished that this game is still in development. Like, how long has this guy been working on this freaking game? It's made his life. I assume he just got a lot of revenue for keeping making stuff up in this game, so he just kept on making it. Like, because who in their right mind would make a game like this for over a decade?
Press, which is the main blog that he has, you can see that it goes from development archives from January 2024 all the way back to April 2014, ladies and gentlemen. We're back
it was
then.
Way earlier, not
was
even.
Quite simple. This is your main character, and people thought this game would be simple at the time. In fact, the first actual gameplay right here is Yandere Dev going stab, 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 stab.
He might finish it when it gets unbanned from Twitch.
I don't know if that really plays alongside with what the story's supposed to be.
It should be unbanned now on Twitch, though, shouldn't it?
Actual playthrough. Anyways, that said, Yandere Simulator is not completed. In fact, it's still very much a demo, and it's got a while to go before it reaches full completion, if it ever reaches full completion.
Probably won't.
Now, I have talked about the development, the programming of Yandere Simulator as well too, and it really shows Yandere Dev is a bit over, just a bit in over his head, I guess you could say. Plenty of people have done analyses on this topic, and it's all come by as Yandere Simulator basically being spaghetti code on top of spaghetti code. And beyond all of it, ladies and gentlemen, it really doesn't seem like Yandere Dev, the genius mind behind Yandere Simulator, really cares about fixing it. In fact, if anything, this game has more feature creep going on than Star Citizen. And I'm not joking when I say that. It seems like every month he wants to add some new feature to the game, which just perpetually delays this project to no end. It has been 10 years. We are talking the development cycle of a Star Citizen, of a Grand Theft Auto, except here, we're not even getting the basics out. There have been...
Yeah, basically the code basically showed him wanting to do two things just 50 times. He just said it like 20 times. I want to do this thing, but he just said that he could just say it once. You could make one line of code to say exactly that, or 2 lines of code, but he decided to make like 20 lines of code. I mean, I'm kind of astonished. Like, how are you like backpedaling and creating new? Like, what kind of? You're not creating one game. I think he's trying to create like 50 games. Like, what is? How can you make new ideas about a yandere girl in high school? Like, what is going on?
Other yandere simulator type games that have come out, fizzled out, had their own controversies. This whole genre of gaming is fucking cursed. But that's a whole different video for a different time. Ladies and gentlemen, this game was popularized by plenty of large YouTubers like
I just saw your new washing machine. That's so cool. Oh yeah, I was hyped about that.
19 million viewed videos.
Fuck you. That's when you know you're getting old. You're hyped about a washing machine. It looks good. It fits the new bathroom completely good. Well,
years ago, Yandere Simulator 1, and it just keeps growing from there. Even as of very recently, Yandere Simulator still actually has a lot of...
The code that I've looked at that was like that didn't matter if it was said 20 times or just in a loop. It would execute the same way and take the same amount of memory. Even worse.
Players talking about the game. Even as of a year ago, the 1980s mode is still racking up millions of views on the platform.
Oh, so it doesn't matter? So it doesn't really create any chaos? Is that what you mean? It would just execute the same way? Oh, okay. Well, that's fine then. Who cares?
Clearly, it's a timeless game. Now, of course, Yandere Dev's final goal is to have, what, like 10 rival girls in the game?
Yeah, I think the point is that... I think the point of the argument was not that it would create a spaghetti code in the sense that it would make the performance worse. I think the point is that he's overdoing the code so much, which isn't necessary. He's over typing things. He's making too long of a code of a string, which when it's not really doesn't need that much, and that's why it's delaying so much of his development time, and that's what people are questioning. I think that is the argument.
And one of my favorite quotes is, "Don't you remember No Man's
Sky? Yeah,
exactly.
Too.
Cyberpunk? Have you learned nothing? If your game has issues, it's better to delay the game and keep fixing it until it's ready, rather than release the game in a broken and disappointing state and fix it later."
The thing is that also whenever you make like code, you overdo code, a problem you will often face, at least in games, at least I face with Unreal Engine, is that it sometimes know exactly what it's gonna do, but it doesn't work. Like when you overcomplicate things, whenever it's too much in it. So often it's just easier for the engine to understand that there's not much going on here. Just put it like that. And definitely if you have more people working on it, making the code simplified. And if you make the code simplified, it just makes it easier for everyone else that are working with you to understand what's going on. Because if you're given a wall of text, when it could just be one sentence, that's a lot of production time just taken off for them reading to see what the hell if the code does anything more.
By the way, for people who want to play a story mode that contains 10 rivals, I created 1980s mode. Doesn't seem like that mode was the original design, but at least those two games actually did come out, had their controversies, and managed to build themselves
had their controversies
status. So again, kind of wild. He keeps comparing his games to the Hitman franchise, the Yakuza franchise, where in Yakuza you can basically do a million different things.
And how many Yakuza and Hitman games has there been since the start of Yandere Dev? Probably like over 5, right? Each. There's probably over 5 games each.
I guess that's sort of the intended design for Yandere Simulator, even though the Yakuza franchise has an entire game that might as well be the finished Yandere Simulator to an extent. Lost Judgment already has the whole high school and labs.
Oh, really? That's cool.
And social systems already present in that game.
Just change this guy to a hot anime girl. Was Yandere? It's basically an obsessive girl. And that's most like it's basically like an obsessive girl that to explain it for you, it's like basically an obsessive girl that has would do anything for the one they are interested in. They would go into killing people, killing them, murdering people, overprotective, basically girlfriend.
a wild story to witness.
Yeah, obsessive girl with murderous tensions. That's what
But
it is.
this isn't about the game
Oh,
anymore.
I had one of those. You had one of
Because
those?
honestly,
Did they
do
kill
I think
anyone?
Yandere Simulator is ever going to be finished?
Had to call the cops?
No,
The
I don't
fuck?
think so. I think we'll probably see GTA 7 before
Basically
the
a
finished
superstar,
build
yeah.
of Yandere Simulator. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. I really think I'll be platinuming Star Citizen single player by the time this game's finished build is dropping out. And yeah, that's pretty much where it all comes down to. Now, Yandere Dev made a video about a couple weeks ago. Oh. Now, Yandere Dev 3 months ago made a post where he said, "I'm sorry." Now, here he says, "There's a part of me that wants to do what I usually do, write out a massive essay where I over-explain every single thing about the situation possible. But I'm not going to do that. This isn't a blog post about that. I'm just going to take accountability and own up to a really, really huge mistake that I've made. A few months back, a fan of the game DMs me and wanted to chat. I normally just turn fans away and tell them I'm busy. But in this case, the fan seemed really
Until
funny
he found out they were
so I
16.
agreed to talk. After around 2 months, I agreed to do a voice chat with her. Right off the bat, she let me know that she was 16 at the time. Never perceived that as a problem. What do I care what her age is? She's just a funny fan of the game. We talked for a while and eventually I started to feel really comfortable speaking to her. I started talking to her the same way I would speak to one of my other friends, like she was one of the guys. I made the same type of vulgar jokes that I make when voice chatting with my other friends, and that was just a really unacceptable mistake. Oftentimes, she would say something flirty to me. Most of the time, I would shut that down and refuse to reciprocate. However, there were times when I didn't shut it down and let her talk to me that way without stopping her. That was absolutely not okay. So I thought it was pretty open and shut when I read that. I was like, oof, this man just admitted to some really wild things. But of course, ladies and gentlemen,
Christ, that sounds
where
crazy.
he addressed the allegations. So the first apology
Wow, what did he go through, Neo?
Let's
My God.
An underage fan of my game. I will take accountability and admit that I did discuss inappropriate topics with a fan. However,
Did the like
accusation
ratio
that
bar
I
is like nearly in the
deliberately
middle.
attempted to groom this fan is false. In this video, I would like to apologize for what I feel I should.
He was totally the one starting it.
So he admits basically, yeah, I talked in a way I shouldn't to a fan. Right there, I want to stop it, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a pretty serious problem when it comes to
What does he remind me of, Danny DeVito?
Ladies and talked in a
apologize for.
I'm not sure why he does that.
Comes to YouTube,
Doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
These communities,
Maybe it's his big lips.
Gaming communities that have a lot
You
of
see it?
underage
A little
fans
bit.
built into them. And this time I'm going to strip away all the jokes and the sarcasm and the BS. In the Minecraft community, there's just been diddler after
I think if you put like those Danny DeVito glasses on him and you made him like half bald, maybe you would see it more.
In the Roblox community, I haven't looked too far into it, but I wouldn't be that surprised. Listen, at the end of the day, when you have kids and you have these adults who, you know, basically are man-children themselves, the interactions that they have should
Dan DeVito's a hot
absolutely
mess.
be cut down. If you are an
I
adult,
love Roblox.
okay, an adult content creator, and you have minors in your Discord or minors in your personal circle, you are 1000% the only person responsible for making sure that there is a separation of quite literally church and state between you two.
So here's the thing I want to say. So the legal age in my country is like 16. My sister countries that are next to me, it's 14. Whenever I, for example, as an adult, speak to anybody that is above the like around like 16 to 20, I'm saying 16 to 20, even though you could like argue that 18-year-olds are adults, in my brain I'm thinking around that age that I should make sure that I talk in a specific way. I think that I cannot speak the same way to somebody that is 24 as I could speak to somebody that is 18. That just makes sense. That's just how you do it. If you have underage fans, if you have people surrounding your Discord that are like between 13 to like 16, you should probably think about that and try to speak in a manner that is appropriate. And you should definitely not have weird direct messages with somebody that is underage in a country that is looked upon as underage in your country. Where I'm going with this is just simply that when you are an adult of 35, you should probably use your goddamn brain to think whenever you talk to somebody that's 16. And don't talk to them like they're a regular friend just because you've been chatting a bit. That doesn't make sense.
You do not discuss adult topics with a minor. That is not okay. And it's so simple to just tell a minor, shouldn't be talking like that, end call, be done. In fact, you shouldn't privately really be speaking to minors anyways, okay? There's just really no good reason for you to jump into. You got a game to develop. You got to stop jumping in and wasting your time, especially with somebody under the age of 18 and potentially getting into discussing really, really, really adult graphic topics. That's fucking wild. The fact that he just admits to that is just insanity. Now, obviously, he talks about grooming and he discusses the definition of grooming as intentionally starting a relationship with the intention of having it go in a very, very adult manner from the beginning. Now, again, do I think that Yandere Dev is necessarily that? I think Yandere Dev is a very socially stunted individual. Not that that excuses anything. I don't think this person is necessarily a malicious, like, by design individual. I really do think that he is somebody that just did a really, really bad thing, that he absolutely should probably be investigated for. And to be honest with you, I don't think he's necessarily safe to be on YouTube, especially when he has intermixed his entire community and there are minors sitting within it. He has proven himself in this entire video, just in the first 30 seconds, that he is not responsible or capable to handle minors interacting with him at all on the internet.
Then he should block his DMs and restrict his Discord. It's just simple as that. That's all he has to do.
But let's go forward.
In the beginning, our conversation...
But why did you have conversation on Snapchat? Why did we see earlier conversation on Snapchat? Why did you add like a 16-year-old on Snapchat? That's like... that's where is it like, why did you take that step? You didn't need to do that.
Were normal, but she had a kind of...
I just realized this guy kind of looks like Beat.
Every now
Are you Danny DeVito?
Topic or ask a question that wasn't really appropriate.
Maybe your name is not Dave, it's Danny.
I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, but I rationalized to myself that it was no big deal and just kept talking with her. Eventually, I must have said something that sounded like a red flag to her, because at some point she started...
Is it weird that I always think that people that wear caps, like I always assume they're bald? I just assume they are wearing a cap because they're bald.
...to record our conversations just in case I turned out to be some...
You should show the head. No, that's true. I feel like that's the case.
To a YouTuber, and the YouTuber decided, yep, this
maybe
guy
just every
seems like
bald guy I
we
know
need to-
like wears a cap.
Stop it right here real quick.
Because they do.
See, the big problem here is you said you felt uncomfortable when
I go
they
for my
said
friends
some
at
really
least.
wild adult
Well, I know online.
humor, quote unquote. Dog, you are the adult. Okay, the moment it's not you feel uncomfortable, you cut it off. It's the internet.
He's
bro.
not bald.
There's an end call button. You know what you do? You move your mouse to the end call button, you hit the end call button, and there it is. You're not feeling comfortable anymore. You just saved yourself a charge. That's it. Now you're caught into this problem all because you couldn't just cut it off with a minor.
Mura should work for him. Mura needs to help this guy.
Yandere Dev doesn't really do all that much is provide the receipts. There's only actually 2 receipts in this situation. One that we'll actually look at right now because he brings up the actual statement from the victim themselves. So let's read that real quick.
The girl has written a statement about the entire situation, giving her side of the story. I've put a link to it in the description below.
Okay, so he shows this like one statement, but that's page 2. So if you go down, he actually does provide the actual post to this statement. So we'll actually read it together real quickly. So in this entire thing, this is written.
Is there
by
a name
Yandere
Yandere victim?
So again, let's actually read the statement together. Let's do a bit of reading. I am Jane or whatever. This is my statement on everything that happened with Alex or Yandere Dev. I was a fan of Yandere Simulator for a good chunk of my childhood, as were many others. I love I Has Cupcake, Markiplier, Gloom, our favorite highlighter, the whole crew. But then again, I wanted to reach out to the creator via email. I sent him some emails when I was 9, super basic fan emails, and he responded to very normally. All right, everything's cool. I reached out to Alex right before my sophomore year of high school ended. I saw a video of him saying, "Yas, queen," on... I hate myself on TikTok, which reminded me of his very existence, and I decided that it could be fun.
What's this
to talk
video
to him
about? A
again.
pedophile.
He responded to my Discord DM in a very casual, normal way. Okay, cool. We started to talk more often.
Yes, queen. Oh, you keep slaying.
So you don't even have to read the next
I'm not
part
excited
of
to
all
play
of
VR
this.
chat. Ah, yes, the tale as old as time.
Until I made
Yep.
things spicy. So first off, okay, children are not.
Do you remember
ever
Yandere
responsible
dev
for
cars?
The kind of stuff that happens to them in this situation, and no one should be saying that. Yandere dev is the adult when things quote unquote get spicy. Dog, the end call button, the block button is right there. Okay, you press that button or you cut it off like an adult. You don't just go along with it and let things happen, because again, it just keeps escalating to a point, to a point, to a point. Now, this kid recorded the conversations, recorded the communication, and actually right over here, what they started to talk about was, at this point, we decided it would be best to move things to Snapchat, since he was concerned
that's a
about
good
being
idea.
screenshotted.
Bro, let's be real. If you move into it, if you're talking, like sliding into a girl's DMs and you're talking for a while and you move into Snapchat, you know what you're doing. Like, you know exactly what the fuck is going on. There is no excuse there.
Why would you be concerned about being screenshotted if everything's above board? I was afraid of losing my new friend. He asked me for my snap, I gave it to him, and we started talking there. We had some casual conversation until the first weird interaction, to which she then sends these recordings to like another YouTuber, which we'll get to in a little bit. So the point of it all being, ladies and gentlemen, is I don't know why this had to move to Snapchat. Again, it's really weird if you're worried about being screenshotted, and it's time we actually shift over and read some of those messages too. But again, one of the things that was really interesting over here was the part that Yandere Dev had actually highlighted in his apology video. Ali, the YouTuber that actually exposed this whole thing to begin with, coached me into being exactly what he wanted. Based on years of her online stalking, along with the community dedicated to bringing him down, she used the same techniques that the Federal Bureau of Investigation uses during sting operations. Curate a specific environment, build trust, lure in, take down. Ali disrespected my wishes when I didn't even want the video posted because it was an elaborate scheme to bring views back to her dead channel. Everyone has faults, but dedicating multiple videos to someone's faults shows her true colors. She is manipulative, hateful, and absolutely not a trustworthy source of news. Many of the audio clips were cut up and put together to make them sound terrible, conversations that were not real. So I'm going to play a clip from actually one of these situations with Yandere Dev. And it's not exactly a good clip to be listening to. Listen to this one.
Okay.
Oh. No, I think I was size one of those in the US is like 5.5.
Wow.
That's a midget.
I don't know how to respond like that. I don't know what to say about it. I don't have one, so I'm not like a penis expert.
There's this one really important thing to remember, and that's that all the money I get is donations from people who want to support me. And if I start working less, then they will think, oh,
I'm a
he's
penis
not
expert,
working,
boys.
he's lazy, I should not support this guy.
Why can't you start OnlyFans?
Okay, let's just hypothetically imagine I have an OnlyFans. Now, what do I post on the OnlyFans?
3D porn.
Just naked pictures of me?
Yeah, why not?
I think I'm good looking enough for anyone to want to subscribe to
Everybody
my
loves
OnlyFans.
Danny DeVito. If Danny DeVito had an OnlyFans, trust me, that would be 1%.
OnlyFans?
God, no.
Well, how can you recommend that someone else do it if you wouldn't even be able to do it yourself?
So, from Ali's video clip, this is an entire...
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like she's kind of starting this shit. But I don't know how this started to begin with. Like, from just this clip on its own, she's the one talking about all this stuff. So I don't know.
Call which took place between Yandere Dev and this victim. And in this entire call, he mentions there's discussions of genitalia, which you should never be having with a goddamn minor, ever. But also,
100%.
he's got a discussion where the girl brings up the OnlyFans, And he says, I'm not going to make an OnlyFans. What am I going to upload? Illicit nude pictures of me? And then he brings up, are you going to make an OnlyFans? And then the girl says no. And he's like, how can you ever recommend I do it if you can't do it? Why even have this conversation with a minor of all things? And again, Yandere Dev talks
that's
about
a good
this
question.
in his apology video. So let's listen to his explanation of this debacle.
I feel like it's worth mentioning that a lot of the remarks I made only sound bad when they're out of context. For example, there was one time when the girl jokingly said, "You should make an OnlyFans." And I said, "No, that's dumb. No one would ever want to see that." And she said something like, "Come on, it's so easy to make money on OnlyFans." And when I heard that, I thought, whoa, that's a little concerning. Don't tell me that social media is brainwashing this generation to think that they should just go directly into porn the second they turn 18 because it's the best way to get rich quick. That's a little concerning.
What you're saying, Car, that means the Twister, she instigated and he wasn't comfortable with the topic, it sounded like. That's what it kind of sounded like for me as well. I mean, it seemed like he's tried to shut it down. I don't know. Maybe I'm not kind of nuts there, but it sounded like she was pushing it. But this is again a 16-year-old, but she was pushing it. He didn't mention this. And he just tried to like end the conversation in some way just by making like arguments or facts that just make sort of sense to stop it because it's not happening.
To know if she was joking or if she was being serious. So I asked her, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?" And of course, the YouTuber used the recording of me saying, "Are you planning to start an OnlyFans?" to frame me as someone who initiates horrifically inappropriate discussions with children.
Now, this is what I hate about these situations when like these people downplay really disgusting behavior. You can listen to this whole call, this section for yourself. Even with whatever context he brings in, literally the discussion of any of this involves...
Wait, I mean, I even had an OnlyFans and I posted photos of my cat, like legit photos of my cat. Only like 3 people subbed and got pissed at me. So you showed pussy pics and they were all mad? So that's a shame.
Talking about genitalia.
Easy money, though.
Brings it up. He should have shut it down right there. Dog, why can't he explain the exact context
My
of this
sub was $10 though. Dude, I should start an
The only reason these
OnlyFans.
apology videos
Holy
ever get
moly.
made is to cater to an audience that has never seen this stuff to begin with. They just look at an apology video and say, "Oh yeah, see, accountability."
$10.
Cool. Now all is
$30
forgiven.
easy,
Dog,
boys.
Have you read the context to this? It's goddamn disgusting. But of course, beyond all of it, there's an entire Snapchat conversation that Yandere Dev has that, by the way, in his own video, in his own apology, he never actually explains, never gets to the point, never denies that the Snapchat account that was shown in these allegations was actually, he never denied owning that Snapchat. He never denied or showed any of those screenshots. In fact, the only screenshot he shows are 2 actual fake screenshots. And fake screenshots, by the way, hurt any victim involved in any serious situation. Don't be playing around with faking evidence. You're only hurting actual victims. But that said, he never showcased the Snapchat messages, which the entire internet, me, everyone, pretty much roasted him for. And they were pretty damning. Inside Ali's video, she showcases a video recording of a
Please do not bring this harm into someone's life to entertain some people on the internet. It doesn't benefit me at all to save you. But what if there are other girls? What if you were lying? What about CSEFs? Please do not show this. Wait, please do not show this to me. If you truly traumatize people, you need to be held accountable. I do not think I traumatized anyone. I don't feel traumatized, but in 10 years, I might. And then what? You are the one traumatized me. I'm sorry. This here is traumatizing. I think CSEF is somebody. I think that's an individual. Is cosplay fan Yandere Dev? What?
Snapchat conversation with...
This is abuse? This is power imbalance? So who is Yandere Dev? Is it me? Is me Yandere Dev or cosplay fan Yandere Dev? I'm confused.
User known as cosplay fan. This is supposed to be Yandere simulation
wait.
with a user known as Cosplay Fan. This
I'm 16. You are? No, I'm not 16. You're 35. Okay.
is supposed to be Yandere Simulator or Yandere Dev. And in his apology video, he never actually claimed that
No, I'm
this
not.
wasn't him.
Prove it.
Now, of course, going further into the apology video, he brings up the fact that he spent the last 3 months basically bettering his mental state, and now he's in a much better state than what he started off with, which, again, I don't know. It's great that you're attempting to do that, but this whole apology never really touched upon the
Ours
really
is like
serious
50.
allegations.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like, I mean, when you're in a conversation with a minor and you say,
Time
so
for
really
pension.
the only thing for me to get
It's time
out
for
of
retirement.
this are lewd pictures and videos to FAP2.
Wait. Well, I wouldn't take a trip to the other side of the country at this point in time. And I am not emotionally available right now since 90% of my time is focused on game development right now. So really the only thing for me to get out of this are lewd pictures and videos to FAP2. Which I'll provide if you promise to keep the secret. Okay, so the thing is that I was all on his side. Like, I was never on his side before this video, okay? But what I was shown here before this image seemed like she was pushing him and making it her own narrative. But you were being unbiased. I was being unbiased before this. I didn't really have an opinion. I didn't really know that much about the topic. But this... he is a 35-year-old man saying this to a 16-year-old. There is no excuse anymore. There's nothing defending this.
Get out of this are lewd pictures and videos to FAP2. That is a line you have overly crossed, okay? And if that's not worth an investigation, I honestly do not know what is. So at the end of the day, he hasn't even addressed some of this stuff, which is literally all that needs to be
They're both just as bad.
And
in my opinion, I mean, she's a kid. I mean, she's a young teenager. Obviously, what she's doing too is not really great, but she also might be played around, and you know, she doesn't know better. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. It's just really bad from a grown adult to act this way and like do this. It's just, he knows exactly what he's doing.
that's why I look at an apology video like this, and I actually say it's probably one of the worst apology videos that I've seen, especially when you don't account for actual allegations like this. Now, that being said, Yandere Simulator is a game that, again, will never get completed. Yandere Dev is an individual that I don't even care anymore if his game doesn't get completed or gets completed.
True.
I'm more actually interested.
You're
in
100% right, Cars. You're 100% right.
For some of those messages that I've been reading. He could have actually denied those Snapchat messages, but he never did anywhere. They just still, like, he never even denied that account. So I don't understand why not. There has to be some level of explanation, but the actual
What the fuck did I join into? A mess.
Never really got addressed. In fact, if anything, he really just admitted to having disgusting
500% doing this for clout, maybe.
That wasn't of age, and that should be the only lasting legacy at least anybody should pay attention to.
That doesn't excuse his actions.
Apology was without one of the worst things that I've ever actually come across. And will this turn things around for Yandere Simulator? I don't think so. I think at this moment in time, the damage is done beyond anything. You've already got voice actors that have effectively quit the game just because of how damning some of these allegations have been.
Yeah, they don't want to be associated with him.
His Patreon is absolutely tanked down to a point where it's not possibly sustaining his lifestyle or the development of this game. And ultimately, Yandere Simulator's death is at the hands of its lazy...
I actually agree. Like, I think the thing is that the way I would defend this is the fact that not Yandere, I'm talking about the girl, is that fact that she's young, she's just doing things. But I feel like when somebody is instigating something and pushing a narrative and trying to like capture, like, it's obviously something is happening here. Like, we have not seen the full picture, so we don't fucking know what's been going on in the rest of the DMs and stuff like that. But you see this with other instances where sometimes people are pushing a narrative and creating a focus so that it will cause drama, so they can make drama out of it, so they can get attention to themselves and damage the reputation of the individual they're focusing on. And in the end of the day, I'm saying this does not happen all the time, but I've seen it happen way too many times. And overall, it just ruins it for actual victims of things that are happening in the world, which blows. But I think that people that really do push this narrative should be accountable. There should be some form of punishment for it, and I don't think she should. I think it's like, I don't think this girl should get any punishment or anything like that, because I again think that she's just a kid. Like, in the end of the day, I mean, kid, she's a teenager. She's soon an adult, but I mean, still, you do stupid things as a teen. Everybody does stupid things as a teen, or something stupid. So this might just be the one for her.
Weird creator. There's a video called Yandere Dev, The Open Secret, which is a hour, 20-minute long deep dive into some of the weird behavior that Alex has had. And I'm not here to say that that is indicative, the past is indicative of what this man has done 3 months ago, but it's just a pattern of history that I think many people can look at and just personally stay away from. I know personally me, I don't really think this person is all there. I think that's been pretty evident. But I think given his lack of responses, his lack of actually addressing some of the more serious situations here, should absolutely have him looked into.
Yeah, I agree.
From like, just absolutely
Definitely.
assessed, because this is some of the most disgusting stuff that I've ever seen. And
I doubt that is true.
on the final note here, if
there's a lot of
Yandere
fucked
Dev,
up people
which
you probably
basically
see
he
on the
admitted in
internet.
this apology that he did speak to a minor in an incredibly charged fashion. I don't know if that's still going on or not, but just him admitting to that is grounds for him to be disbarred from like Discord, or at least interacting with minors in the future.
I agree.
This man has proven clearly that he cannot handle internet fame, and he cannot handle interactions with, again, actual minors.
Yeah.
Because this is what he just ends up doing,
Yeah.
whether it's out of discomfort or not. Ladies and gentlemen, it's truly a disgusting situation, but honestly, this is the Yandere Dev apology, the first apology of 2024, and a damningly shit one at that. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please...
Yeah, that was a good ass video from Mura. I mean, like, this is how I see it. I see it in the sense that she pushed the narrative, but it is whatever. Like, she's a kid, whatever. That sucks, but he's an adult. He's a 35-year-old man. As soon as he noticed that it went any weirder, in a weird direction, instead of trying to calm me down with sense, he should have just been like, if you say this again, I'm blocking you. I'm done. You cannot talk this way to me. This is weird. And then after that, if she did it again, just block her and then be done with it. Because that's just a normal source of action. You have the block button for a reason. Like, if you have a weirdo in your DMs, or if you're dealing with a weirdo or somebody being weird toward you, and I'm gonna say it, if somebody super young is fucking saying stuff like that to you, that is super weird. That is deemed as a weirdo. There are kids there that probably says fucked up shit, and they know what they're doing, but they're just trying to get a crazy reaction. You know, if you deal with that, just block him, be done with it. Like, there's no other action you need to do. No warning, just block. Yeah, it depends on you. I'm saying warning because he said that they were friends for a while, and I don't think that is something bad about being friends with somebody online that is like a 16. If you're like an adult, it's not really wrong if you're just friends and just talking about games or about work or something like that. Like, I mean work in the sense of like programming, if they both have that interest. But you could just do a warning or instantly block. I would just instantly block. That's what I would do, because I barely read my DMs, and that's good enough for me to just like get rid of nonsense instantly. Yeah, like I said, she pushed the situation, but he felt for it. Yep, that's pretty much it. He fell for it. I wouldn't even give the warning. Yeah, I think most sane people would just like move on. Even I think whenever you put in the factor of being known them for like a while, like if you knew somebody for a year or something and they were always chill and then suddenly do that, I think a warning would be all right. But most cases you would just block him and move on. But that's it. Yeah. What a stupid fucking time, man. What a weird thing.